Google weekly chart. Here it was where the bull had came in. This is where the reversals had came in, involvement. But here's what we want to talk about is the 2012 trend is at its bear lows in Google. And you have closed a number of weeks at the 10-week and the red line, the 20-week, and they're declining. You had made your great bull run when we were getting net long back over here. We got net long, and we have all the videos here when we bought this weekly buy signal and traded it up to my price target. And we featured this whole bull trade to the long side, but it was time to get off board, and it was. They rallied back up, but notice, look at the highs on the weekly level in these wicks. They're selling down. Now let me blow up just this part of the trend, the MMT. And here we have that bottom right here in play at 100-week. And not only that, MMT, we're not at a weekly sell signal, but we're close. And if we break down into a weekly sell signal, then that means that Google could trade a lot lower. Because, and let me tell you, like we've done many, many videos at stockmarketfunding.com, the broader market would follow it. Okay? And with all the problems going on, if there's no QE3, they're all in trouble. These are the reversals. We sold short. We have the live trades. We sold it short here. We got the shorting every one of these up moves. When you got below the 10-week moving average, we said, hey, it's no longer in a bull trend. It's in a bear. And it is. Google is in a bear because it closed 4 weeks below the 10-week. The 10-week is going down in value. It's about to cross over. Another thing, if we break this area of 570, we will continue selling the short side of the market down in Google. Once again, it's in a bear signal. PCLN, weekly chart, MMTs. This one is in a bear trend too. 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks below the 10-week moving average. You can see up here it hit my target at that 775. We've been net short. Yes, we have gone long off the bottoms and whatnot, but you are no longer in that long-term bull trend with the 10-week going up. And you notice that Priceline led all the indexes higher as well, but it too has closed 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks below the 10-week. That qualifies that the bear cycle is in play. However, it's had that bottom of that 2012 trend at 486. If we break down to support levels and the markets continue to sell off because of Europe, and not only that, slower growth in the U.S. and bad jobs report, Ben Bernanke's got to do his thing. That's the Priceline bear move. I will also update MMT on ISRG. It too, for the first time, it's 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's in the early stages. It's holding this upper support level on there. However, if we break this level of support right here where the high end of that bar is, ISRG, we got short up here because unlike all of them, they just mark these things all the way up. And they always end up in a bad way and putting price targets. I mean, look how overbought it is relative to growth. Hey, it was a great bull run, nothing wrong with it. However, if you break down here, you got 471 down here if you break the support levels, and all the way back over here in other levels at 459. But you're breaking down, and this thing breaks this support level, and we continue to sell below the 20-week, which is going to be resistance. They go a lot lower. Yes, they do. Not only that, we'll take a look at one that we have been short for a while. CMG, restaurant stock. For the very first time, it got up here, and we have them all featured of why they had to be sold short. And that the upside move, you want to sell these things into resistance level. Chipotle Mexican Grill is a great company. No one says that it isn't. And yes, it's had a wonderful rally. But see, it changed from bull to slightly bear. Why? You're 1 week, 2 week, 3 weeks, 4 weeks below the blue line, the 10-week, to meet the qualifier. So the degree, it's got a much longer term bull in play, but it has that bear reversal in it right now. And yes, these are the lowest support levels right here, MMTs. and they've all gone into slightly bear trends. So once again, we're going to be watching these levels of support and what these lows are going to do. CMG has a lot further to go. That is how that longer term bull breakout, which was wonderful, has slightly turned into a closing below the 10-week, 4 weeks. It's not doing this here. It's doing this. That's why we shorted it and made money down to these lows. And then they bounce up into volatility right there at the top of that weekly wick to test that was major resistance, like we said, and bam, that's a kiss goodbye. So it's still on the short bear list for a continuation in the pullback on CMG trade. Amazon trade, same thing. We have the beginning top of that earnings and that breakout. It's a little bit better looking on the weekly than most. At least it's still not in a bear trend because it's not below the 10-week moving average yet. And it has to be below there for 4 weeks in a row. Now, and this was the earnings cycle. This was that weekly breakout during an earnings report. So we're going to be watching the 10-week, and we're going to be watching the lower support levels here at the 50-week moving averages. And right now the trend is better than the other ones in this video. It's not qualified a bear yet, not in Amazon. Other ones that we have been short for a while, the Baidus of the world, and we have the 135 puts up here. It's gone straight down. You can take a look here at the 2012 trend in Baidu. Is that Baidu is coming down and it's about to test where that long rally that brought it up to that top. This is this rally right here. This was that bull rally. Then it got right up here, and then it gapped below here, and it's never looked back, and it's right back where it started from. And it's in a weekly sell signal, Baidu. And the 100-week moving average is resistance right here. And that makes that, unfortunately, for this stock right here, it can still come down to these lows at 100. They'll have other areas of short-term support, MMT. But once again, full-fledged bear, third weekly sell signal. From weekly buy signal to weekly sell signal. Baidu, full-time bear. So far, Amazon is the best one out of the batch. And the reason why I'm putting it all in one video right now, MMTs, is so that you can see stocks like Goldman Sachs that had this great rally, but look at where that reversals was. Look at the 2012 where everyone wanted to own these financials, and they bid them all the way back up here to where other downtrends had occurred, right here on the weekly. And this was back in 2011 as it put its calendar yearly bear bottoms in, and it was time to get long Goldman. But then right back, like every calendar year within the financial crisis, everyone wanted to own financials. It was all over the networks. It was all over the media. It was all over your stock shows. But they're wrong. And then they turned out to be the greatest short up at the high. It was a great bull run, because that's when the bull was in Goldman. But the bear came in 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 4 weeks, 10-week rolling over, crossing over weekly moving averages. And I will tell you, it's not a broken stock yet, but we're going to be watching the lower end of Goldman Sachs, because if it breaks lower, that means that the financial system is still having trouble. The way that Goldman performed well would be when QE3 and Ben Bernanke and Mr. Obama do their thing with the Federal Reserve to support it. It's at its all-time lows on Goldman Sachs, and we do have this update live for our MMTs. And not only that, the great short down to support. What can I say? There is other ones that we're looking at, such as in the financials, JP Morgan. And JP Morgan, unlike Goldman, is all the way back down here. They bought these financials in hope of Europe doing well, MMT. And yeah, they're at the double weekly bottom. Here's where the rally happened. Jamie Dimon and their company lost $2 billion in trading profits, maybe up to 5 or 6. Who knows what it really is? It's in a weekly sell signal. It's a bear move. You can see what happens with weekly moving average crossovers. Everything that we do, knowing when to go with the rally side and then the bear side. There it is. All the financials are at their major bottoms of the bellwethers. If I show you where Morgan Stanley is, Morgan Stanley had their move down here. And you can see that Morgan Stanley's almost back to 1273, but people were bidding it up here. And yeah, it had its rally with the financials. They all did. That's what supported the market. But look at it. Financials have been breaking down because of the crisis. And we just wanted to update this mid-year update with these stocks that are in here. Another one that I really wanted to point out for the MMT was stocks like CF, which has come down to major support levels, weekly levels here, with a big reversal. It too is in a bear reversal from the bull side. And once again, it's at jeopardy. There it is. Here is a 2012 gap up. We have held this weekly level. However, with the closing handle 4 weeks below, struggling at the 50-week, any upward volatility will be selling short into CEF. Another one that we'll be looking at carefully is the CEO. Conoco Ltd sponsored ADR. And why are we looking at this one? Because it too has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. It's coming down here. It's going to test its 200-week moving average. That's going to be big support level for CEO, is the symbol. And it rallied up with the markets, and it too has already broke that 2012 calendar gap up. That was the low. It's broke. All eyes on weekly sell signal on CEO, and the 200-week moving average is going to be at 168.96. And any upside in volatility, you will sell short into resistances because they're going to roll over, and this is in a bear sell signal and a bear reversal trend from a bull trend on CEO. Let's be mindful of a few other stocks that we covered, such as the Visa trade, and how the Visa trade got up here to the reversal side. But it had the great earnings of the calendar 2012 quarterly, and it too is up here at the reversals that we talked about, got up to 125. Now it only has this double week below the 10-week closing here. It's got actually 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's starting to go in that bear mode. However, we will be shorting into the resistance levels because it's up here at the top and it's still overbought, but it's got a reversal. Now, another one that we will talk about that goes along with this is the Mastercard trade. We do know that we were getting short the Mastercard up here because it was overbought. What a great bull rally it was. 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, 4 weeks. 10 week is rolling over. It's at a support level right here of that weekly breakout in calendar 2012. Here is another support level over here where it broke down to these bottoms. I will tell you, though, that any volatility to the upside to resistance levels toward that 10 week, just like it did here, we will sell short again. So on the upside volatility, you go long a sell and get short again. And now you're breaking down below the 20-week moving average. And it's technically 4 weeks below that 10-week. And Mastercard has been a great stock up to the highs, like all of them have. Now, Apple, on the other hand, as we've said clearly, that the Apple trade MMTs is below the 10-week moving average. Now, one of the things that we'll do here is that they were really rampant in their earnings cycle, and look, we shorted this thing all the way down to our price target of 525 and got long off of this weekly bottom. However, the leader is 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. It's 5 weeks closing below that 10-week moving average. It's not a bull like it was when the weekly moving averages were barreling to the upside in here, because they're not. And this is where that top reversal was, where we were getting net short. And we were shorting at the highs up here, and we broke down right here at this 551 level down to my target was a little bit less than 525. However, any up move into resistance levels, it's still bullish above the 20-week now, and it's rising. It's just that it's not that bull power that it had. It's tradable off the bottom, but if the broader markets continue to go down, this one could easily get below the 10-week. We'll be watching Apple Computer. And not only that, it had a very robust trend. And has it ever? But you can clearly see right now, I'll draw a weekly trend line from my MMT, and you can clearly see that from, as now your platform will tell you, see, you're on the right side of this down weekly reversal, but the minute that you start falling below this diagonal trend line MMT, things get weak and you go below the 20 week, we would be aggressively short into the upper end of the resistance levels now. And you can clearly see when we traded it long off of the bottom here now, is that you come up here to that resistance level of that 580. And it's struggling, and that's the resistance level now. That's a conclusion of some of the higher beta stocks.